Thank you so much, Ms. Navalnaya, for being with us tonight. I will start with a question about Aleksei, your husband. We remember his courage. We remember the choices that he made. And we remember also the courage of all the people that went to the funeral, to his funeral in Moscow. So my first question is about him, his heritage, his ideas. Where are his ideas today in Russia? Where are the people that are supporting him? Where do you see today in Russia Aleksei Navalny?
First of all, it's working? Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. Of course, it's my first time here. It's a beautiful opportunity to come to Italy for a couple of days in September. The second, thank you very much for your kind words, and I understood, like, Vladimir Putin is criminal, Aleksei Navalny, and some kind of nice words about me. So thank you. Thank you very much, Pina, for inviting me. And I hope that this festival will be an annual event, and that's a great start. And I was thinking, to say the truth, that on Friday night to come here after dinner time, it wouldn't be so many people, but I can see that almost all chairs, there are almost 3 chairs, and thank you for coming this Friday night. And coming back to your question, I think that that's obvious that these people who supported my husband and who supported our ideas about democratic Russia, about fighting the regime, Putin's regime, about just thinking and wishing very simple things like human rights, democracy, and all this, like free elections. All these people are in Russia. They were very brave for many years, being shoulder by shoulder with my husband on a lot of rallies. Now, probably situation has changed a lot, and it's very difficult to understand here on this island, very calm island with a lot of tourists during the summer, and even now with beautiful weather, beautiful pasta, that people could be arrested just for going with the poster on the street or for the likes on social media. That's why those people mostly are inside Russia. They haven't changed their views, but of course, not all the people could be heroes, and it's very difficult to be hero, and not every person could choose this path to be hero. So they are on the same place. They, I think, need our support while we are sitting here. They need our thoughts about them because they are living under oppression. They are living under threat every day to happen to be in prison for years for nothing, like it happened with my husband. Of course, first of all, like it happened with a lot of other people, and like it happened, for example, with my husband's lawyers who were in prison for 5 years for nothing, just for being lawyers of my husband.
Thank you. The war...
Those applause, of course, for them, and it's very important for me not to forget about these people who are now in prison just for doing their normal human job.
So, if this is the Russia that is following the message and the courage of your late husband, what about the reaction and how the Russian people are dealing with the war? The war in Ukraine is about to have 4 years. The balance and the price that the Russian society is still paying, it's very high. So how do you see the approach of the Russian people, the Russian public to the war and the choices made by President Putin?
First of all, I want to mention that Ukrainians pay much higher price for all what's happening, this war which Vladimir Putin started. It's terrible and it's awful. propaganda, let's be honest, in Russia still works very good. People watch TV a lot, but in many countries, that's how it works. But in Russia, I guess, of course, this propaganda is, in Italy probably it works, propaganda, but still you can go for a kind of rallies to the streets. But in Russia, it's just not possible. That's why, coming back to your question, I want to say that just last week we did our organization. We still managed to do surveys, asking people in Russia a lot of things. Yes, we are not able to ask them direct question: do you support the war or not? If it's even not possible. But of course, we ask them questions about negotiations, and I would say that our polls, which are our surveys and polls, which are pretty trusted, they show that 75% of people in Russia, they support the peace negotiations. And for example, as I said, we are not able to ask direct question if you support war or not, because for this question people are afraid to answer the truth. For this question saying like, no, I don't support the war, you can happen in prison. That's why we asking, for example, another question. We ask people if you know that there are additional money in budget, where you would like to invest them and spend. And I would say just 8% of people are ready saying about military and they're ready to spend them for some kind of war things. And the first place, of course, it's about healthcare. It's about education. It's about such kind of things. And it's very important to understand when you're not asking directly, you can understand by this question that people don't want to spend money. They are not ready to spend money. Of course, nobody wants the war. Everybody wants peace.
So in reality, you're saying that the Russians are trying to find ways to express their oppositions with a different narrative from the Putin's one?
No, it's not what I'm saying. It's about, we are trying to understand and to get this, way to understand how to get this opinion from Russians. It's not about Russians running to answer on questions to show that they against or not against, but through these answers we can understand that it's not priority for them to spend money for the war.
You are a main character in your country for the fight for freedom, for ideas and values. You're paying a very high price for that. From where your courage is coming?
Thank you very much. I think that it's mostly not about me, but about my husband. Of course, he was the main figure. It happened so that I've been with him for very close, of course, many years, and I don't have any courage. It's really like this. I'm just doing and saying the right things for me. I just want to be voice of these people who against this regime. And I am this voice because, first of all, of course, thanks to my husband. And the second, because Pina invites me, it happens like this. That's why I just use this opportunity. There is no courage to be here in Italy. Again, I'll repeat it. In a beautiful place, there is no courage. It's just very important to me to use this opportunity to speak with you, to speak here on this island, tomorrow to come to another place, and again, to speak about these people in Russia who is threatened now. They're afraid to do anything. They are under big pressure of Putin's regime. And it's very important for me, first of all, to remind about that we need to be united to fight with Putin's regime.
On August 15, President Trump met with President Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. When you saw those images, shaking hands, what did you think? Meeting, sitting around together, what was your reaction?
I thought nothing, to say the truth. But if you asking me in general about their meetings, I would say very important thing about which I think people speak not enough. And it's, for me, it's very important to remember that President Trump is the elected president of the United States. But who is Mr. Putin? We don't know how many percent he get on his first, second, third, and he will get on his 18th election. There are no any people who can count. No, there are no foreigners who are invited to to understand how these votes of Putin, elections of Putin are going on. Yes, he writes this 85%. He wrote it on the last elections, but how was it? How was it? Nobody understands how many percent he get in these last elections and on previous elections. And it's not like, I'm sitting here and say nobody supports Putin. Of course, there are some people support Putin, but you live in a democratic country, you know how it works. Nobody can get 85% on fair elections. Of course, those figures mean nothing. He never participated in any debates. He didn't allow his main opponent, my husband, to participate in elections. My husband started the presidential campaign 1 year before elections, because it was real presidential campaign. My husband did rallies in many, many cities and towns all around Russia. Nobody else did it. Putin never did it. Everything is prepared, to make a huge rally on the main square in Moscow. That's it. All people who works for government participate in these elections. It works like this. That's why it's very important to understand that Vladimir Putin is not fair elected president of Russia. And that disappoints me that in these, meetings, President Trump gives Putin a kind of legitimacy that he is real president. He's not. And nobody in the world can understand and can count how much support he has inside country.
President Trump is trying to appease President Putin in all kinds of ways. Also, on the war in Ukraine, he's advancing all kinds of proposals, basically trying to find agreements with Putin. Probably the proposals advanced by this administration were the most pro-Russian that we have never, or pro-Putin that we have never thought about. Nevertheless, President Putin is keeping saying no, 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 and no again. What do you think that he has in mind? Why he's refusing all this American appeasement? He really believes that, do you really believe that he really wants to win the war militarily? This is what he has in mind?
I think that it's not about winning or losing. It's just to continue this war, because it's how it works in any country which is ruled by a dictator, and how it works with any dictator. We are speaking about President Putin that he's something special. He's not something special. He's absolutely normal, average dictator. He started from corruption, he moved to repressions and censorship, now he started to poison his political opponents, and then to have, to keep people in fear and to show them how strong he started the war. He just doesn't want to finish this war. It's not about, winning. It's about to show his strengths to all the world.
2 days ago, Putin sent about 20 drones inside the airspace of Poland. And many countries bordering with Russia, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, they actually fear the risk to be attacked by Russia in the next 3-5 years. Even the Secretary General of NATO spoke about this perspective. What do you think about this fear? Do you see the risk that that Putin will move even farther than Ukraine, threatening Europe?
I don't have, in general, any fear, but I think it's about the way which we discussed about Putin before. He just wants to show his power to threaten people in many different ways. Nobody knows what is his mind, but I think that it's, his way to understand how far he can go, to keep people in fear and to show them this feeling that something worse could happen than war in Ukraine. But I think that there is no sense, to show him many times, very often, that all the Europe, all the world afraid of him, because that's what he wants.
But if President Putin wants us to live in fear, what is the best answer that we can give to him?
To put much more pressure on him politically. There is no pressure to him at all. On his inner circle, there are still few sanctions, individual and sanctions on his very close allies. Oligarchs who are keeping his own money who are voted for them, for him. And it's very important to put this personal pressure and political pressure on Putin. Also, I think that it's very important to make difference between Putin and Russia. He's called president of Russia, but it's not like forever, That's why it's not something special property Russia for Putin or something like this. Okay, even he was elected, it just for several years, not for all the life. That's why I think that it's very important to send him this signal and to remember that there is another Russia as well.
We were very much impressed by the summit in Beijing when President Putin met with Xi and the conversation they had. They had a conversation about Eurasia as a geographical place where they felt home. And they spoke about immortality, the possibility for them to live forever. What do you believe that they share? What do you believe that they have in mind?
That they want to live forever? It's a very easy question and very easy answer.
They really want to do it.
I thought that it's pretty common knowledge for people who are interested in politics in Russia and all around the world, but Putin does a lot to find the ways to live longer. And I wouldn't surprise that other dictators are dreaming about the same, because that's very important for them. Of course, I hope everybody wants to live forever, but for them to keep this power, to be very strong, it's very important for them. That's why nothing special again. Like dictators, imagine I would say dictators become more crazy than longer they are in power, then crazy thoughts come to their mind. That's why I'm absolutely not surprised, and I understand very much, and I think that absolutely true that Putin is just dreaming to live forever.
Can you tell us something about the Putin's mind that we don't know, that maybe help us to understand him better?
Well, I'm a very happy person. I'm not Putin's wife. I'm not Putin's sister. I'm not Putin's daughter. I'm not Putin's mother. That's why I wouldn't say you something special. But the one thing I want to tell you, and I think it's very important, and I think that in this way I understand and I can Putin very well, and I can see that he enjoyed the moment, that he wants we will be sitting here and we'll be sitting here the next year and talk about him. Not about Russia, not how to fight about him, but about his mind, what he would do if he wants to live forever, or what he wants to eat tonight, and all the things, they wouldn't bring us to a kind of victory on this regime. And while Putin in power, he will be trying to threat all the world, to threat neighbor countries, to threat Europe, to threat people far than Europe, to threat people, first of all, inside the country. And it's very important to understand that we need to discuss more, I think, not Putin by himself, like personality, but the ways, probably it's like more political question between Pina and me, not during Friday evening, but it's very important to remember. Thank you.
What do you believe is his main weakness? The main weakness of President Putin?
You see, the next question about Mr. Putin as well. I think I will continue to answer on previous question that main weakness of Mr. Putin, if everybody again wouldn't be speaking about him, he enjoyed the moment. That people will be trying the way to stop the war, to stop this dictatorship regime.
And finally, Ms. Navalnaya, we live in a tragic season of wars. We see a lot of suffering among civilians, population. This happens in Ukraine, it happens in Russia, it happens in Gaza, it happens in Israel. How do you see this phase of our lives? What is your sense facing all these sufferings?
Well, I think that we, and I hope I do, just need to fight for better future for our world and to do everything what we can do. It's not about people asking people to be heroes. It's not about people to go to prison every day for their beliefs. Somebody can, not everyone. It's not about, even fighting sometimes, like strongly fighting. It's about to expect from every person and from yourself to do everything something probably small, but to remember that then more people are involved, then better world will be soon.
Yulia Navalnaya, thank you so much. It's been an honor being with you. Fine.